my next guest today is Kate Coulson from Kate Coulson HR Training. Kate, great to have you with us today. How's things with you today?
Really good, thank you, Simon. I think the sun is almost shining. I'm doing well.
Good. Can't complain when the sun's shining, can we? It's always great when the sun's shining. We can get out and about and makes people spend money as well, I find. So, no, it's good. It's good. So thanks for joining us. Obviously, today we're talking about startup businesses and some of the help and support that's available to startup companies. We'll come on to the support that you can offer startup companies and some ideas and tips that you've got for people. But do you want to just give us a bit of an interest? Sorry, not an interest, but an introduction to your background and what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks, Simon. So I've got a career that spans over 20 years in HR and management roles. And I was really fortunate in 2021 to be able to take a break from that career and travel with my young family. And that was such an opportunity for me. And although I wasn't unhappy in the corporate world while I was in it, it made me reflect and think, what life do I really want, to get that balance right between family, career and learning myself. So I took the leap of faith late last year and set up my own business, supporting small businesses locally, utilising my skills and expertise in HR, all things people and training. And it's given me the balance that I'm looking for. I can't say that I work any less hours than I used to in the corporate world, but I work my hours now around my family and my other interests. So yeah, that's the business that I've started. We officially launched beginning of February this year, and it's going well. And there's been some ups and downs along the way. Some days I think I can conquer the world, and others I'm quite nervous that I'm possibly not going to pay the mortgage this month. But it's all going in the right direction, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, brilliant. So, firstly, welcome. When you take that leap of faith, it's quite daunting, quite challenging, but it's also very exciting. And some of the guests we've got throughout today, and we've had on previously today as well, they've been obviously sharing their stories of what it's been like. And I know from my own journey, when I started out in 2009, it was, oh my gosh, there's no fixed income anymore. There's I've got to go and find my first sales and everything. And I'd never sold a product at all. So, well, I probably sold a car or something at the car boot sale, but I'd never actually sold professionally or seen myself selling. So it was a major education. But here we are, 13 years later, learned many things along the way, but I thoroughly enjoy it. I liken it to being a bird. You're like free as a bird. You can grow into this great big animal or great big hawk or eagle, whatever you want to be, or you can be the little sparrow that just flits around. But you're free and you can go, practically wherever you want to go. So, but yeah, welcome to business. So
thank you. I have to say, work doesn't feel like work anymore.
Yeah,
it's a strange feeling, but work doesn't feel like work.
I think the biggest learning for me when I started out was learning to cope with, not the regular income. That was the biggest challenge, because obviously, you don't have that pay packet coming in at the end of the month where you just spend it and go. You've got to, practically budget more and get tighter to your money. But the actual self-fulfillment and knowing that I'd added value to people, added value to the clients that I'd supplied, tremendous. When you delivered something and they just go, wow, that's amazing. And you're thinking, it's okay. I've done my job, but when they actually give you that wow factor back, and I think that's what it's about as well. So
yeah, for sure. When I do work for clients and I've done a good job and I've made a difference, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of doing that is immeasurable. And actually, when I did some unpaid work for a friend of mine, before I set up on my own, giving them some HR advice and talking through all things people, knowing the difference I'd made to her really was a bit of a spark. And I was like, oh, I'd like to do this. This is really good. This is really what I want to do. Yeah, it's what I get my kicks from.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Just before we do touch on some of the products and services you actually offer, what was it like when you had that first phone call saying, practically your first client? What was the feeling like?
Oh, it was amazing. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing, kind of peppered with, oh my gosh, I'm a grown up now, and I've now got to deliver. I've got a service, and my reputation is absolutely everything. So yeah, there's a cautious cautious optimism as you go on with your first client. But I think the most exciting was when actually I raised my first invoice. Not when the money landed in my bank, but just the process of sitting there and I had my lovely template invoice and off it went. I was like, this is a business. I'm not playing around at this. I am an entrepreneur. I am a business owner. And that realization is, that mindset shift is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was an accountant, so coming out from management accounting and heading up teams and departments, also then becoming this entrepreneurial, oh my gosh, I'm responsible for everything from start to finish. You know, I didn't have a team around me or anything, which we'll come on to teams in a minute when we get talking about your services and everything. But it was like that real reality check. And I used to listen to a lot of podcasts and things like that just to help me, adjust and correct my mindset as well, and also pick me out the gutter sometimes, because there's times when I'm thinking, why am I doing this? But you know what, it was, as you know, and as others have said as well, it's not all plain sailing. It's not all about the big house, the big yacht, and the lavish lifestyle either. It is about the flexibility and the freedom. And I think you're right in setting out those values from day one. This is why I am in business. For me, I wanted to see my children grow up, and I did the school run alongside the business, as well as, obviously managing customers and running the business as well. So for me, it was a lifestyle. And now, obviously what we do now, we've got enough experience to begin to help others and move others forward as well where we can. And it is about self-fulfillment. So yeah, well done on taking the steps. So let's talk about your business then. So HR and training, obviously, in corporate world, and what is it you're actually doing now to help startup companies first of all, and then we'll come on to sort of more seasoned, experienced businesses. But so, what products and services can you actually help startups with at the moment?
Sure. The biggest piece of advice I'd give to any startup is to think about your people from day one. So it's unlikely that most startups are going to have a huge team from day one. Some will, but most won't. But for virtually every business, they're going to need a team to deliver their productivity at some point in their trajectory. And if you wait to plan all things people until you actually are ready to take people on, you're too late, because you'll be far too busy to be thinking about it, and you're going to be on the back foot. So if you have a startup, you're even just in the initial thinking phase of starting a business, think about people. And the services that I offer to support new businesses with that are the governance, which for me is just a given, but let's get all your policies in place. If you employ over 5 people, you have a legal requirement to have a health and safety policy. You're going to employ even one person, you need to have a legally binding compliant contract for them. So let's get all that in place, because once it's there, we can update it as the employment law changes or the landscape changes, but get all of that in place. Then think about all your processes. So how are we going to do performance management? How are you going to manage that team? How are people going to report sickness? What levels of process do you need? What are people going to be doing? And then it's the strategy side of things, which is, start to think, so for some people it's quite holistically, so we could do like a good workshop, which we all love, about, what tasks do you need people to do? So what skills do you need? And then what sort of people do you need in your business, and scope all that out so you can plan and have job descriptions and maybe a recruitment strategy. How are you going to go and find these people? How are you going to select who are the best people for your culture and the business you're trying to grow? So when the time comes, you're there. You've got your plan, you can follow your plan, and you know that things are going in the right direction. And I can also help when you are at that stage of looking to grow your team. So helping you with recruitment strategy, helping you train that team, helping you make sure you've got the right skills in place. So it's ever evolving, but biggest advice, don't wait until sort of Monday in the morning when you think, oh, I need someone now, I need to start employing. What do I need to do? It's too late. Get on the front foot, plan everything and have everything in place before then.
So startup businesses starting out today, maybe on their journey, in setting that in their business plan, it actually gives them a goal to focus towards, but also it prevents them really from getting to that moment of, oh, let's just go and recruit somebody. Because I'm sure there are businesses that have done what I'm just about to say, where they think, oh, I'm really busy, and then it tails off a little bit, and all of a sudden they haven't got the workload for that person. So I think that's a really good thing for people to look towards, because all they're doing is planning at the moment, aren't they? They're not actually taking somebody on; they're actually just putting it into their plan to
Yes,
say, look, my goal
planning,
is to take somebody
absolutely.
on.
And I really enjoy being that critical friend on all things people. So, like you just said, you make a rush recruitment decision, quite happy to sit on your shoulder and say, is this the right decision? Have you thought about this? Do you really want to hire somebody permanent full time? Because if your business doesn't grow in the right direction, you're going to be looking to make them redundant or unfortunately let them go. Looking at everybody's options. And so I enjoy, being that critical friend and asking questions that you possibly friends and family wouldn't ask, and making suggestions that people probably haven't thought of.
Yeah, and that's great to be that critical friend, because we can, I think every business owner can get quite close to their business for a start. When it becomes to people, we know people are a massive asset to a business and to a company, and to have that critical friend on the shoulder. And it is a great term, critical friend, because you can be a friend and, really well, this is really good what you're doing, but you can also turn around and say, look, is this the right timing? And I think to have that is essential for business growth and sustainability these days as well. So it's great that you can offer that. And then talking about some of the training that you can offer as well, you can actually help with the workforce as they, companies grow. You can actually help to train the workforce as well.
Yeah, I can, absolutely. I love working with the business owners directly, and I've delivered management and leadership training to business owners who are absolutely experts in their field and fantastic entrepreneurs, but all of a sudden they need to be really good managers and inspirational leaders, and they're skills that we're not born with generally. So we need to hone them and train them in the art of delegation, performance management, engaging your team, all sorts of things that we don't all just happen to have. And if you're, an expert in your industry, it might not be that your industry is a leader or managing people. Then when it comes to their actual teams, it's looking at sort of fundamentals like GDPR. Are you GDPR compliant? Are your staff compliant with GDPR? Do you even know what GDPR stands for? Customer service training, looking after your people, so whether that's your customers, your staff, or indeed your suppliers. So training along those lines, fundamental things that you need to invest in your people so that they can drive your sales.
Yeah, brilliant. And you're absolutely right there. I mean, when you work in a company or work in employment, GDPR, unless you're in that department, you probably never heard of it. You probably don't understand it. The same as other things that go on as well within a business. As soon as you take that step into business, all of a sudden you're responsible for the data and the responsibility for the GDPR policies and everything that goes with it. And it is a completely different world. And I think as well, you just touched on something there that's quite prominent. I can recognize this in me. I'm very good in being very visual and getting on and doing something, which is where the entrepreneurial side fits in. Where the leadership side fits in, okay, yeah, probably need to brush up on that. But the management side, my gosh, and the difference between entrepreneurship and management, I find is such a big thing, because obviously, the entrepreneur is always taking the gamble, the risk, thinking differently, thinking creatively, whereas the manager has obviously got to manage what the entrepreneur's thought about, and it is such a big difference, isn't it?
And I think as a business owner, you have to wear so many hats, don't you? I quite like to say you have to wear so many shoes as well, but you do, because you need to be that leader, you need to be that entrepreneur and that visionary, but actually you also need to be that manager. You need to be able to delegate, you need to be consistent, you need to follow good processes, you need to have a company vision and mission that all of your team are engaged with, and have, develop a culture of trust and have everyone committed. There's a lot to it, an awful lot to it. And where I partner with my clients and startups, as much as a good established or a really fast-paced growing business, it's partnering with them to support them to have those skills, but also to almost, to be an outsource for them. So they can say, okay, we can't do everything. Kate, can you come and help us with people, and surrounding yourself with other people who've got expertise that can support you in your business journey.
Yeah, brilliant. Now, talk to me about the skills training that you offer as well, because obviously skills are essential in any business, whether you're a startup or whether you're existing business. When it comes to the skills training that you can help and deliver, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you can help with?
Yeah, of course. So it's key skills like customer service, basic finance, basic Excel and other Microsoft packages, communication, resilience, how to develop trust in your team, so growing your team, and then fundamental skills like understanding GDPR and doing refresher training on an annual basis, manual handling skills. So there's a real plethora, and I really enjoy the variety of clients that I work with, and therefore the variety of methods that I can deliver it. So it could be face to face, it could be a nice coaching session for a really small group or one-to-one. But we all know now that we're all pretty good on social media, on Microsoft Teams or Zoom. I don't know if that's a promo bit there, but we can do it remote, so we can reach out and do it to work well for you, for your business.
Yeah, brilliant. And talking about your own journey and going back to when you first took the plunge, obviously we spoke earlier about what it was like to actually have that first client. What would you say to anybody else that's maybe thinking about coming out of a corporate job to actually take that step? Because I'll come on to my challenges when I first did it, but what would you say to anybody that's looking to take that journey?
I'm a huge believer in following your gut instinct. And for me, it felt right, and it keeps feeling right. I also really love change. So on the negative side, I get bored really quickly. So when I first thought about this crazy idea of not having the nice corporate 9 to 5 and a regular POE check and all of that, so I was waiting for me to wake up one morning and go, oh, that's it. Yeah, I'm bored of that idea now, silly idea. And I haven't, and I don't think I ever will, because it just feels right. So if you're thinking about starting a business and it feels right, go for it. The other sort of slightly conflicting ideas is, one is plan everything. I've got a background with Prince 2, so I'm quite, project management and things I've done, and I just pulled every skill that I had there to form a really good business plan. I had help to critique it. I've planned my marketing strategy. I've planned this. But on the flip side of that, be totally prepared for the unexpected. And the plan doesn't always go to plan, and that's okay. And just to roll with the curveballs. So have that plan, so you know the direction of travel, and so that other experts can help and guide you, and they can see your vision, because it's all down in black and white on paper. But as the journey progresses, it is just about rolling with the curveballs and embracing them, and embracing what you learn from it. Because with any challenge, there's always good stuff that comes out of it, because you do learn, don't you? I've learned quite a bit. It's only been 6 months, but I've learned quite a bit so far.
You're constantly learning. I mean, I'm a graduate of the University of Life. Actually, I'm not a graduate. I'm still a student of the University of Life, even at my age.
We all are, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, it was. I think you're right. You never stop learning. Everyone's got different knowledge and experience and life skills and everything. And in 13 years, I've met some fantastic people. I really have. And some of them, you just hear their previous life, where they were in their corporate careers. And I love my sport, so when I get the chance to actually talk to people about my previous career when I worked in the football industry, it's an icebreaker for a start, and that's nearly coming up for 20 years ago. So that was a great way of creating and building relationships. I think the biggest challenge I found when I stepped out from behind the desk and behind the computer was, I didn't have a team of people to be able to delegate and give those basic tasks to. And I think the other thing for me was my confidence. It took a big bashing, because all of a sudden I did feel like I was going back to being 16 years old again, because obviously I was having to practically I'd climb the ladder to the top of my career as far as I could go, and obviously then taking the step off that ladder and gone to the next level, and it was starting at the bottom again. So I think for me, even public speaking was a major no. It was a major, I can't do this. So I think, if anybody's in that situation, or having those concerns, is find someone you can buddy up with that's going to help support you. And you don't necessarily need to. You can go and get training and coaches and things like this, but for me, it was a case of, right, just find someone that I click with and let's work together. And that was really, really important for me, actually, at the time. And do you know what? Now you can't shut me up. It's great. It's great for me, but not for everybody else. So, but it comes in time. It comes in time. So, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. Surrounding yourself with really a good support network. So that's, maybe consultants, maybe people like me that can help alleviate pressures where you don't have expertise or resource. Equally, really good people in business, that, like you say, you can buddy up with to do some speaking with they can help you do some networking. Cash flow, is king, and I haven't paid for everything. I've had to be really lean with where I spend my money to drive my business, but engaging with really good supportive people is essential.
Yeah. Later on today, we've actually got Tony Robinson, who's joining us, who I've known for a few years. Tony's he's not exactly a mentor of mine, but he's a guy I look up to, and he knows that. And I'll tell him that on the recording later. He's a great guy, but he talks about bootstrapping all the time. Pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. Don't throw thousands of pounds at something which may not work, because it's such a big step. I'm sure he will come on to that later on. He's on at 5 today, so come back and listen to what he says. But he's a fabulous guy.
I will.
Yeah, I mean, he's been awarded an OBE for his services to business, and I think he's been around since the mid-80s in supporting small businesses move forward. So he's a fabulous character as well, and shared a few glasses of wine with him over the years. So, but looking forward to him being with us later on. But so, what about your own plans for Kate Coulson HR and training? You looking to recruit more staff, do you think, or was it a case of just take it slowly as you grow forward?
No, I've got some big ambitions. So we absolutely want to have a team and expand the business. I want the business to be sustainable for my family. We talk a lot about what is success and what is fulfillment, all these sorts of things. And ultimately, everything I do is for my family for the future. And if I continue with Kate Coulson HR just being me, and as it is, that's not particularly sustainable, because none of us are immortal, are we? So I want to grow a business that's sustainable for the future, and I really, really want to give other people the opportunity that I've had. So I know so many talented HR professionals who are looking for a role that uses their expertise but is really sympathetic to family life, or just their own commitments outside of the working hours. And I don't believe that we all need to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, to be successful and to be fulfilled. So if I can grow the business that's sustainable for my family, make a difference to more and more small businesses in and around Northamptonshire, and support other HR professionals like me that are looking for that better work-life balance while they're still learning and growing, well, then I think I've nailed it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, listen, I mean, I look forward to following you on the journey, and obviously, if there's anything we can do to help support you, please do shout, because it's what we're about as well. Yeah, trying to help you move forward. Just trying to ideas and suggestions that help businesses move forward in the area. But I wish you every success of it. I'm sure you're going to make it a success, and one day you'll look back at that first ever day in business and go, wow, look where I am today. And funny enough, actually, I've always gauged myself on exhibitions over the years. My first ever exhibition I went to with just a little table and a tablecloth that was supplied and a couple of leaflets, and you felt a bit out of your depth and a bit embarrassed that you're standing with a few leaflets. And then as you grow forward, I went on to having obviously then the pull-up banner the following year, and then the following year after that would be the great big exhibition stand. And just to see myself going on the journey years ago with the marketing company I had was amazing. So just find those little milestones, I would say, to see what can help you look back and reflect of your own journey, and document it as well. Look back at where you've come from to where you are to today, and everything. And yeah, it's a fantastic feeling. But well done. Thanks for joining us today anyway, and hopefully catch up with you soon.
Thanks for having me, Simon. Really lovely to talk with you. Take care.